is up, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for once again sliding into the Pixel Playground. This is episode number 2. My name is Matt, and I am joined as always by my two co-hosts. We have the Frenchman, Frenchie, and we
Hello.
have Torrey Pines. How you fellas doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Glad to be here with you guys. It's been a long week for me. But
Absolutely.
Yeah, how you doing, Torrey?
I'm good, man. I'm smiling today. I'm just happy it's almost a freaking weekend, man. Excited to have that rain come in so I can just lay around and play video games.
Is it gonna rain again this weekend?
It's supposed to rain tomorrow, dude. Yeah.
Dang, man, it's been crushing us in SoCal for like, it seems every weekend it's been raining. It's kind of crazy.
So we went camping earlier this week with the family, and we went up to the mountain, and sure enough, we weren't ready for it, but there was a ton of snow there. Like the roads were blocked off, and it was icy roads or whatnot. But yeah, that was a fun 2 days. Thankfully, the second day we were there, it was pretty sunny, so we actually got to be outdoors for a little bit. So that was cool. You guys ever go camping?
Nice. I have been a lot. My wife has never been camping. I like. She comes from a little, kind of fancy town or whatever, and just never, ever has been camping. I want to rectify it, but at this point, I think I'm a little too old to do like the real rugged, like throw a sleeping bag on a tent on the ground type shit. I'm definitely going to need something a little more posh than that. So I think we'll do glamping, but I think like the old school when I was like a Boy Scout style camping is kind of out of it at this point.
Yeah, so
I know, Torrey, your surfing ass has been camping for sure. You have Joshua Tree written all over you, dude.
Nah, man. No, dude. I'll be honest. I haven't been out to Joshua Tree once since I moved here. Not once. I know
that's some good areas to rock climb over there.
I know.
Hot take. Joshua trees are ugly as shit, and I don't understand the appeal.
It's just because they look like they're from another planet.
Yeah, they're not as beautiful as Torrey Pines.
So I have a camping hot take. I never really went camping growing up, so like this was like pretty much like the first time I went legit camping, and I gotta say I feel like camping is like a voluntary way to put yourself at an inconvenience, because you know what, you get a tent out there, right, and you're sleeping on this shitty sleeping bag. It's freezing outside. It's like 20 degrees.
Yeah.
You gotta like have a makeshift kitchen. You can't just like whip things up. You got this makeshift camping gear you're trying to cook with, and you gotta like cut wood for the fire. I don't know, it's just you gotta do your dishes. It's a lot of work. And I went with my 2 sons and my niece and nephew, and I don't know, it was a lot. It was cool at times. We went hiking, the snow was cool to see, but I don't know, I think I'm more of a glamper at this point.
I used to do a lot of Prius camping.
I
bought my Prius, yeah. There's a whole like YouTube. Well, there's a whole community online, Facebook. You'll see all these retired people like just buying a Prius and just traveling across the United States. And cool thing about a Prius is you can turn on like the air conditioning and just leave it on all night, and it'll use like 1 gallon of gas, and that's it. So if you're like going out to the Midwest or like somewhere where it's like super hot at night, just sleep in your Prius and turn it on. You're good to go. I've done it multiple times.
Every Prius owner I've ever known or seen on the road is, one of those people that drive extra slow to try to save even more gas.
You can't do that around here in San Diego. You can do that in like NorCal, but not here in San Diego. You gotta put that in power mode, or you're gonna be yelled at.
Very well. Well, what are you guys playing?
Yeah, I guess I'll jump right in. Today was the big day. I finally finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which has been eating up a ton of my time. I think I finished the game in just about 60 hours. After Junon, I started like really not doing a ton of like I feel like I did everything in the grasslands, that first open world area. All the towers, the relics, the everything that I get, all the combat stuff. I even did Chadley's stupid combat simulators to get materia.
Yeah.
By the time I got to what's the third area? Gungaga or whatever, I was like, nah, no more. Like, I'm trying to listen. All I'm trying to do is romance Tifa and finish the story and see where it goes. It's something that I could see myself going back to just to kill time, like throw on a podcast where it's like, because the side missions aren't going to be super story related, but I basically want to finish off Queen's Blood. I want to go around and get all the collectibles.
Queen's Blood.
Do you decide to do a platinum run and work on hard mode, then I'm throwing the difficulty right now down to easy, and I'm just going to clear out all of the side objectives. And then if I decide to go through and do the hard mode or whatever, it's just going to be like a straight playthrough, like skipping cutscenes and all that stuff. So it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I do got to say that there were certain parts that like I could have done with less of. Mainly a lot of the the late game stuff. I feel like they tried to make it super epic, so it stretched it out a little bit. So, but overall, like, and it was more, it's not really spoiler territory and stuff. It's more of like the grunts, right? There's like a lot of grunts, and it's just like, all right, at this point in time, we should have like cleared out a lot of this riffraff, right? It should be like boss fights and stuff at the end. So, like, the pacing was a little bit off for me. That's about as spoiler as I'll get on it. But overall, I really enjoyed it. It made me very interested to see where they're going with the last installment, the third one, because unlike you, Frenchie, I did not loathe something. I was perfectly fine with it, and I'm excited about how they set up the possibilities. And overall, I don't think this is a spoiler, basically because Remake had a lot of this going on. I love Sephiroth's one of my favorite characters, and I love the way that they have given him dimension and fleshed him out more. He's gotten a lot more screen time, and it's really cool. He's a very intimidating, menacing figure. When at the beginning of the game, when you get to play as him, that's like super dope. So like it was fun, man. It was super fun. So I think now though, much like you, I need a palate cleanser. I'm a huge baseball fan. I've been meaning to just like mindlessly dive into MLB The Show. So I'll probably do that for a couple weeks and then kind of move on from there.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
So
Frenchie, what you been playing, man?
Dude, I am still playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
I was about to say, I see you on PSN, man. You can't lie those hiding achievements and trophies.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so getting away from it all for 2 days while I was camping was perfect. So I was kind of eager to get back into it. Yeah, so I've been all over the place with this game, as you guys know. Like, there's a lot of things I love about it. There's a lot of things I didn't like about it. But the thing is, like, I'm still playing it. So like that, I think that says something right there. And I've never played a single player game this much in my life. I'm at 127 hours. I like, honestly, I've never done that. Any kind of open world game, I'll probably go like 40 hours max. And if it's like something I really love, maybe like 60 to 70 hours. I'm just compelled to keep going, and I'm enjoying a second playthrough. I'm currently on hard mode, and I finished 10 chapters already. And I got to say, some of these bosses are hitting really hard. I'll get into that a little bit later in a later topic, but I'm having a good time. It's really challenging at this point, and I'm trying different materia combinations and learning a lot of stuff, trying to find out how to make videos online, and just watching these dudes just melt these bosses. And I'm like, how do you guys know this? Your audio's cutting out. I don't hear you, buddy.
Uh-oh, yeah. We've lost Matt. Ooh.
Timestamp.
Oh, I need to... No. I have the mute on. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see, though, once Torrey's finished with the game, like, we can all confer and do, like, when we do our final spoiler cast, to see who we all thought was, like, the hardest boss. Because I think it's going to be different for all of us. I think, and it'll be interesting to see, like, hey, what was your like main party setup, and then what was your play style for each character? You know what I mean? Because I ran essentially like, if I didn't have to change from Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, I didn't change. Like that was my squad.
Yeah,
like I don't care about anybody else. And it's funny because the times that I got to use, for as much as I think she's annoying, but Yuffie is fun to play as. Red 13 super fun to play as. But the way that I wanted to play Cloud, who I predominantly played as, I set it up so that, it was Cloud, Tifa, Aerith.
I was going to disclose some materia combinations that worked really well for me later. I could do it now. I don't know. We'll see. But Yuffie is actually pretty overpowered. If you combine her with Eris or Aerith, yeah, they got some crazy combinations, but we'll get into that later. We'll see. Torrey, what you doing? What you playing? Even though I already know the answer.
Yeah, we already know. Yeah.
Well, okay, this is what happened. Yes, I just got past the Barrett origin story and stuff of his gun arm and all that. And I have to defend using Barrett like I guess this is a little bit of a spoiler, but that one-on-one battle, that was fun. Like I liked that. That was really cool. Even though I've been up to that point doing all the side quests and like my level is pretty high. I beat that boss pretty easily. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna main quest the game now and just play as much Queen's Blood as possible because I'm addicted to Queen's Blood. Like that's all I want to play. I don't want to play
Not a bad life.
Yeah, all the other mini games that they like force you to do, they're cool. Like the Chocobo race is dope. Like I thought that was cool. But I'm like, I just want to play Queen's Blood. I just want to collect more cards. I just want to try different things.
Yeah.
Listen, man. Yeah, like as soon as I got one shot, one kill on that Chocobo race, like I got first place, and I was like, I'm not doing that again.
Same.
Really? You didn't like that?
I thought it was fine. I thought it was fine, but it's not what I wanted to do. I agree with Torrey that like besides the main story, all I really wanted to do was play Queen's Blood. Like that game is so fun, and there's so many different ways to like build your deck, right? Like, do you want to be just overpowering with like just high numbered like cards or whatever that you can throw out? There's a couple of, I think it's Titan is like it's two. I don't know how it's like the 2 dot card, but it's like 5. It counts as 5.
Oh, like
I don't know how the
rank 2 cards. They call them rank 2, rank 3.
Okay, so rank 2 card with 5 as its number value, and it can help set up like cards around you or whatever. Or do you do the thing where it's like, no, I'm going to set up the board, but now I'm going to be able to do like these debuff / replace cards, right? Like I replace this. So let's say you have a card out there that it's like gives +2 perk to, all the cards around it when it's destroyed. And then you have a card that you lay on top of it on purpose to destroy it. And then everything around it gets a +2. Like, do you want to be like that debuff or replace style? There's so many different ways to play the game. It's super, super fun. And like they, the side story for it's super cool. Like I didn't finish it before I beat the game. So that's like the first thing I want to go do is just finish the Queen's Blood storyline. And I want to go. I can't say that. It's not really a spoiler, but I want Torrey to figure it out on his own. Yeah, it's really not a spoiler. You can't miss it. Like it's literally staring you in the face. When you go to a certain spot, there is a quest that kind of pops up, and I want to do that one. It involves the color purple. Let's just say that. You know what I'm talking about,
purple.
I don't. But
he doesn't know.
Anyway, Queen's Blood is really what I wanted to play. It's super fun. Everything about it is just super fun. And in remake, we got Fort Condor, which sucks in comparison. Like absolutely sucks in comparison. So lame, takes forever. The peak, like the cool thing about Queen's Blood is that it's fast and it's also super strategic. So you can play a bunch of Queen's Blood games and like, it doesn't take Fort Condor. Like, dude, watching the Enforcer walk across the map, I'm like,
I don't like that they put a time limit on it. I wish it would just keep going until it dies or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like the mini games were hit or miss. Like a lot of them I actually enjoyed. Like I really like obviously Queen's Blood, Chocobo Racing. I like Fort Condor.
Yeah. I think absolutely the lamest one was the motorcycle race.
Yeah, that didn't really do much.
It's literally just ripped from remake. It's just like, come on, guys. Like, this is terrible. Like, it's just an asset shuffle.
No,
for sure.
The lamest one was the Punch Out one. Like, what I'm talking about?
That was
the Punch Out.
Difficult, yeah.
I hated
that one. Wasn't that bad. I was good at it. So I think I like it because I was good at it. Oh, I knocked that fool out quick.
I bet you did.
Well, Dio honestly is easy.
Trash. Yeah, he's trash.
Just wait till you
get to the later levels of it. Yeah. It gets wild. Like,
it gets hard.
If you think it, like Dio is slow at the end, it gets super fast, right? Like,
I'm not even gonna play it.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, honestly, guys, like Dio is like a joke. Like it's just a tutorial. It's just trying to teach you how to play. Once you get to the later quest and fighting Sephiroth, it's a nightmare. But
you gotta do Sephiroth. Okay, that'd be fun.
Sephiroth it's a long fight, and you know what the thing I didn't like about it was very difficult to read certain attacks. Like you didn't know if it was like overhand or under or uppercut or whatever. So I don't know. You kind of have to look at the positioning of their head almost. Like if their head is high, then you block high. If their head goes down, you kind of you figure it out after trying 100 times.
Yeah.
But
for sure. So besides Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Torrey, I feel like you're playing something else. I know
this guy right here. Unicorn Overlord. I that's what ruined Final Fantasy VII for me. I was like, I just need a break. And I knew I shouldn't have popped it in, but I did. The only reason I was playing it so much was my YouTube algorithm just kept throwing Unicorn Overlord videos at me. I'm checking them out. I'm like, this seems pretty cool. And it's really good. Vanillaware, they're so good. I love Vanillaware so much. I love. I don't know if you guys know the whole backstory with this game. Like the main guy who started it, like he put like all of his money invested into this like project and stuff, and he's done that before with other games. I think was it Odin Sphere. But I just love that. I love like kind of, I guess you'd say indie, not really indie game developer, but it's so good. Like the characters, like the hand-drawn art and the music's awesome. But it's like my first like Ogre Battle style game. I've played Ogre Battle in the past, but just like moving things around and trying to figure out like how to time things and make your teams of different squads like really kind of overtake the other army. It's really fun. But yeah, it definitely, I had to like throw myself back into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to get it going. So I blame Unicorn Overlord for my slowdown.
I know it's early, but would you say it's your favorite Vanillaware game?
Oh gosh.
Or is it up there? Because there's one in mind that I have that I know is my favorite one.
What, Odin Sphere?
No, Dragon's Crown.
Dragon's Crown?
That was my jam. I was playing that on the Vita.
Yeah. I'm going to have to say,
it was so fun.
Well, Odin Sphere is like the OG for me. That was the first one I ever played, and I really like Odin Sphere a lot. So it's like neck and neck with Odin Sphere for sure.
Yeah, good choices.
Yeah. I got a special place in my heart for 13 Sentinels.
Oh, that's I love that. 13
one.
Sentinels is super good. But it's kind of like
Vanillaware game.
It's very story based. Like it's very.
That's why
like
I like it. That's
visual novel
like
kind of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the music's
you're
really
talking to a guy that
too.
absolutely loves Phoenix Wright games, which are essentially like
then
a lot of story and action. Yeah.
Totally makes sense for you.
And things like that.
Yeah.
So
that game the music is amazing in 13 Sentinels. I'm just like falling. I'm like, oh, sounds so good.
That story gets so wacky though. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
It's all over the place. It was hard to keep track.
Everywhere. Like it's too.
Speaking of fun stories, have you guys played Doki Doki?
The
Doki Doki
Literature Club.
Literature Club. I have it, but I haven't played it.
Play it.
I have it. I bought it, and I was like,
highly recommend it. Don't look up anything because it'll get spoiled for you. It's really, really good. It's really good in a very subversive way.
Is that a novel, like a story novel type game? What do they call them?
I think it's like a visual novel, isn't it?
Visual novel, yeah.
Visual novel, like dating sim, yeah.
Okay,
but I can't say anything more than that. But
yeah, I know there's some
shit
goes down, but
it's worth it. It's worth it. It's super good. Love it.
Okay, we'll play it.
All right, guys. Speaking of funky, fresh games, demo came out last week. It's all the hubbub online. Everybody's talking about it, mainly for what it shows or what it doesn't hide, I guess. And that's going to be Stellar Blade.
Yeah,
Stellar Blade demo, man. Yeah. Everybody is talking about, jiggle physics and boobs and unrealistic expectations and the battle online between people who, think that's unrealistic beauty versus the creators who are like, no, we want this the way that it is, versus it being based on a real model, versus all of the kind of ugly chicks we've been getting in video games because of, other political reasons. There's a lot of politics going on around this game. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. Listen,
beauty is Beholder.
Okay. I listen. You all can behold Aloy, right? I love Horizon, but she's not cute, man.
That's okay.
And that's okay. It doesn't need
Last
to be
of
right.
Us. What about what's her name from Last of Us?
Who, Ellie?
Ellie?
Yeah,
she's like 14, bro.
I haven't played the second one.
In the original one, she's like 14, bro.
Yeah, is that what you're talking about, bro?
No, I don't
anyway.
know. I'm making a point that I agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Aloy or Ellie would be interested in us, anyways.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's the other side of the politics, which we're not really going to get into. But the demo's been out. Have you guys played it? And if you have, what are your impressions?
You want to go first, Torrey, or you want me to go?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so I played this on the portal in bed at night. So it was a chill experience. I actually came out with very positive thoughts about this game. I wasn't really sure what it was going to be because they revealed it such a long time ago, and we didn't really see any true gameplay. But getting my hands on it, I feel like this is a very polished experience, and it's definitely more than the sex appeal. There's actually a pretty good combat system in there. I love a game with a good parry. Games like Sekiro, which I got to the final boss. I don't know why I never finished it. I got distracted, but I love that sound of the sword.
Bro, if you tried to go back and play Sekiro right now, you would get your ass handed to you so bad.
Exactly why I never went back.
That's why I'm worried about. That's why I'm worried about the upcoming Elden Ring DLC. I haven't played Elden Ring since I platinumed it, and I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be such a swift kick in the ass.
You're gonna definitely be rusty, but back to Stellar Blade. Yeah, I think it's a very polished game. It looks beautiful. It runs great. There's a lot of things going on the screen. Like I said, the parry is amazing. The music was pretty amazing right off the bat. I even like the little the elevator type music when you're trying to when you're at the store, when you're at your little camp and you're sitting down and you're trying to go through your upgrade.
You can change the music.
You can change change the station. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I could just vibe right here and just kind of chill out. And this is day one for me. I'm gonna buy it. I think that's the next big game I'm looking forward to. It's right around the corner, 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
All right, let me go next. Just because I haven't played the demo, I've seen a lot of discourse around it, and it looks interesting, and I really want to get to it. I do think that it's a little weird. Some people are hit or miss on the combat. I think that it's really tough to judge combat, at least in a negative way. If you love it right off the bat, you're probably going to love it in the game. That's pretty fair to say. If you don't love the combat or you think something's missing in a demo, it's kind of hard because a lot of these games introduce so many different mechanics that the combat's probably not going to be static throughout the entire game. You're going to get abilities, maybe weapons, something else that, suits or whatever that's going to be able to change the way that combat flows. So I'm definitely interested in it. Visually, it looks amazing. And just because I respect the fact that the creators stuck to their vision, you always want to support that kind of thing. And I just think this is it's an homage to some of the old style of female lead. It gives me Bayonetta vibes, if I'm being honest. It gives me Bayonetta vibes, and I respect the crap out of that. You know what I mean? Bayonetta, super fun game to play. That's Platinum Games, and that was this is Shift Up. There seems to be some cross match DNA in it, and for me, again, because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has been taking so much of my time, I didn't jump into the demo, but I've seen enough on videos that I don't even think I'm going to play the demo so much as I think I'm in agreement with Frenchie. I'm just going to buy this day one and just play the full game. I didn't play the Rebirth demo just because, when I see enough of a game that I love, that's it, I'm on blackout. I don't need to see any more, right? I don't need to see another frame of Judas. I know I'm buying that day one and I'm going to play the crap out of it and I'm going to love it. You know what I mean? All the annual sports games, doesn't matter if they're pieces of trash. I love sports. I'm going to buy all the sports games. I'm going to play all the sports games. This is in that line. It speaks to me in a way that I really like it, in a way that Unicorn Overlord doesn't, because I'm not really a fan of the tactics games anyway. That's not really my bag. So this is, for me, is an obvious choice. I will be playing this. Torrey, have you played this, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I got the demo down. Dude, I can't not keep comparing it to Nier Automata. It's The music isn't as good. The story isn't as good. I'm like, I love the graphics. It's really cool.
Torrey's like, who Eve or what's the girl's name's Eve, right?
Yeah.
Eve or 2B, who gets alone time with Torrey tonight? That's what's happening right now.
Okay.
That's the comparison that he's making.
No, do you take off the suit? Do you take it off and do the skin suit? Because if you notice, her boobs get bigger when you take off the suit. You notice that?
Well, also the creator, I haven't done that. Obviously, I didn't play, but the creator said that it actually makes the game more difficult too.
Yeah. You take it off and you lose attributes or something like that.
Which is, I think, is actually kind of a low key, super cool mechanic. It's like, all right, thirsty boys, you want to look at this? It's gonna make this game a lot harder for you.
That is kind of cool,
right?
Yeah,
it's kind of reminiscent of Souls games when you start off with no class. You just kind of bum out there.
You're out there in the underwear and everything just like smashes you right off rip. Yeah,
totally same thing.
I'm
not the same. I mean, FromSoft's character models are a little bit different than what's going on here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Hey Torrey, how fast did you hit the follow button for the model for Eve?
The what?
How fast did you hit the Instagram follow button on the model for Eve?
Don't act like you don't know.
I didn't know they had that. Now I know. Yeah,
that's part of like the people were saying like it's unrealistic representation. The creator of the game's like, no, actually we based it off this like very real Korean model.
Mm-hmm. Oh really?
Yeah, it's a real person, not the face, but just the body.
Not the face, the body is a real person.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also got to say, like, I'm really impressed with this studio. Like, I personally have never heard of them before, but I did a little research, and I guess they do a mobile game. So I don't know how these studios that are popping out of nowhere are making these like high fidelity games. Like if you look at Liza P came out of I think Korea as well. NeoWiz, that game was fantastic. This game looks to be fantastic. That other one, Black Myth Wukong. They're like I've never heard of these studios.
Is it Wolong? Wolong or
no? Wolong was the other one from was it Ninja? Ninja Theory?
I can't keep up with these shits.
So many Ninja freaking studios.
Team Ninja?
Team Ninja. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Better Alive.
The one that just released Rise of the Ronin.
Yeah.
Same.
Ninja Gaiden and all that.
Which, by the way, I heard Rise of the Ronin is a very big disappointment.
I've heard mixed. I've heard some people love it. Some people think it's just kind of mid. It just depends what you want out of it. I think the combat system is going to be good. It was on my radar, but I just told myself, like, you know what? I'm just going to keep playing FF7. I love the game, so I'm going to keep going with it. And if I get to it, Ronin, I'll get to it. I'm not really worried about it right now.
Sure. But. I think, Stellar Blade, I'll buy day one to support the devs, but I think it's probably going in the back. I need to play Persona 3 Reload. That's probably my next big game. Mm-hmm. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, so Torrey, but comparisons to Nier Automata aside, what do you think of the demo?
It's okay. I don't think it's going to be a day one purchase for me. I'll be honest with you. I'll wait for the discount. There's a lot of tropes from Nier Automata. I'm like, all right, yeah, base camp with the music. You can do that in Nier Automata as well. The fighting style, I don't know. Would you guys say it's more Souls-like than, because it's not like Platinum games like Metal Gear Rising or Nier Automata or like Bayonetta. It's more, more Souls, more.
It's a little more kinetic, more free flowing.
Yeah, which I don't like as much. I love the Platinum games kind of style, that fighting game style.
I don't think it's Souls-like. And granted, this is coming from the perspective of me not having played it and just watching it. Souls games have a certain weight to everything you do, right? Everything is deliberate, and like a lot of times when you're attacking, it's slow. It's animations that like take a long time. This doesn't seem quite as overtly weighted down in realism and animation as what a Souls game would be. But I do think that it's a little bit different than Platinum games just from the look of it. Frenchie, what do you think? Because you've actually played it, and you've played Souls games. How do you kind of, if you had to compare it to another game in terms of combat style, what do you think would be the closest kind of comparison that makes sense?
I feel like it's more Ninja Gaiden-esque because you have like fast kinetic movement. You have a bunch of,
to be clear, we're talking about the 2008 like Xbox trilogy of
the OG Xbox
Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah,
we're not talking about the original Nintendo Entertainment System Ninja Gaiden games.
well, I'm kind of more referring to like the OG Xbox, and then
the 3D ones. Yeah,
60 had the Ninja Gaiden 2 and so on.
Those games were actually hard too. Like
they were hard, and I think the biggest takeaway is like Stellar Blade. At least for me, the demo didn't feel hard, and I know a lot of people are comparing it to Sekiro, and maybe it's just because of the parry mechanic, but I don't think it's anything like that. It's kind of like a hybrid between the two. But yeah, I think my main takeaway is like the difficulty is just not there, and that's coming from I've played Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, Sekiro, all these games. I don't think it's going to be as hard as that.
No, I mean, dude, Ghost of Tsushima had a really cool parry mechanic.
Oh yeah, I love that so much.
Ghost of Tsushima.
I'm wearing my Ghost shirt today too.
Yeah, I didn't mention it in my honorable mention of games, but God, man, that like in terms of open world games, that game is one of the best, man.
The music in that game was awesome.
Yeah,
so good.
The opening,
the way the world immersed you, right? Like instead of like, oh, I got to do we always talk about the Ubisoft method of finding things, right? But the way that it's like, oh, I need to go here, and you swipe up on your control pad or whatever, and the wind just blows in the direction of your objective. Like that's so cool, man.
Yeah,
really
and just
cool.
the physics of the countryside, and like the wind is always blowing, so like the grass and stuff is always swaying. It's just super cool. Love that game. Yeah. Anyway, anything left to say on Stellar Blade?
Go ahead.
Torrey.
You guys notice like the monsters designs are pretty intense. Like I almost felt they kind of reminded me of like a Silent Hill kind of. I don't know. The design of the monsters in the game are pretty gnarly. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, like the definitely more unique. Like I think like the head, kind of like it's like almost hollow.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Sense. Like I think that's especially
like I feel like I'm playing like Dead Space and like I don't know Ninja Gaiden combined with multiple games at once in those designs. It's cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that because a lot of games have the same type of enemies. So like finding something new always
Nier Automata.
Did you guys ever play Signalis? The indie game Signalis?
I have not.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. Like probably like one of my recent favorite survival horror games. And that game takes a bunch of tropes from like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, like even like Ghost in the Shell, and tons of stuff. And I feel like with this developer, like you're saying, they're more like they've only made a few games and they're kind of grabbing from all these different games and throwing it into one. But I mean, the graphics are amazing. Again, I'm kind of waiting to. I'm overloaded with games. I need to beat Final Fantasy. I need to beat Unicorn Overlord.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was that a pun intended or?
I'm overloaded with so many games right now. I know. And honestly, dude, like I still need to get all the endings in Nier Automata. I was like driving home from work the other day and I just wanted to relax and I turned on one of the songs from Nier Automata and just like, oh my God, I need to play this again. Like it's the best game ever made. I'm sorry. I love that game.
Hey man, if you love it, you love it.
I do.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Cool. Frenchie, anything else to say on Stellar Blade? For me, like the last things that I'll say is that so far what I've seen is a story that's serviceable. It's got me interested to see where it goes. I don't think that we're gonna get some magical thespian type adventure, right? We're doing comparisons to Nier Automata, and I don't know because I haven't finished it, but according to Torrey, it's a very deep philosophical style storyline with lots of different endings. I don't know if we're going to get that, but I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. And honestly, after Rebirth and how intensive that story could be at times, I feel like maybe something a little more milquetoast will probably do me a lot of good. I'll probably get to this game after Persona 3 Reload as well. And that'll be another super intensive story game. So maybe a little less is more in this case. Frenchie, anything else to say about Stellar Blade?
Just more that it's my style of game. I love like the third person combat character action games. So like it's right up my alley. I'm not necessarily looking for a good story. I just want a fun combat loop and upgrade my character and just something more a little bit more chill, since I've been over in Final Fantasy world for 127 hours. I just want something a little bit more bite size and just free flowing, action oriented. I could care less if the story is good or not. And it's funny, like the older I get, the more I care about gameplay. You know, at first I was like, oh, I want the amazing stories, but gameplay is always king. At least that's what I think now.
I think as I age, I'm actually the opposite, right? Like I like a good story, right? I want something that's going to suck me in for a while. And, you know, I have my place for my mindless games, right? Like I'm going to play, I'm going to play MLB The Show for a little bit, which, like, if a lot of you don't know, I play zone hitting, which means I got to move my cursor around to find the ball. Mm-hmm. And I usually put it on dynamic difficulty, but I usually end in legend plus hitting anyway. I'm really good at the game. I'm not competitive by any means, but it's something that I enjoy, that I can just hand-eye coordination type of thing with it. Those type of things, obviously I play Fortnite, which, seems stupid, but like, dude, there's a lot of sweaty 12-year-olds out there that are like really, really good at that game. And it takes a lot of skill. And then of course I got to train for Evo in July. I'm going to play a lot of Street Fighter 6 coming up, which if you guys, everybody out there follows the Pixel Playground YouTube page and Twitch page, I will be live streaming a lot of that stuff as we go forward too.
Hell yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. It's a lot of, I do really like gameplay, but sometimes I just want to like escape, and those moments as I have more responsibility on my plate, as a homeowner, as a husband, as a father, and those type of things. Sometimes the mindless is great, but then other times I just want to be like whisked away and be taken to this like fantastical world where like a great story can kind of tide me over. And just, if I'm having a bummer of a day or even if I just like want to get into a different headspace, sometimes a cool story is all it takes. For some people it's reading a book. For me, it's finding a good story in video games. So
that's the beauty of video games, man. There's something out there for everybody, and at any given time or any mood you might have, there's always something there for you. That's why I've been playing forever.
Yep. Why we'll all probably play forever. I think our generation is the first generation that's going to become old geriatrics playing video games. Like we're going to be the ones right in the nursing home that are still holding the controller going like, all the kids are going to have the chips in their brain. Like, oh, you guys play with your hands. Like, what's wrong with you guys? We're going to be like, this is the way it goes.
Do you ever think about like when you'll stop? Like when are you like realistic? Yeah. Like I don't see myself stopping. Because I appreciate so many things about it. Like I love the challenge of it, and like you said, sometimes I like the story of it. Sometimes I just appreciate the art behind it. Like there's so many different aspects to video games, and the fact that it's interactive and you can take a part of the story.
Interactive, I think, is the big thing for me that I love, is that the interactivity is there. It's not just a passive form of entertainment like television or movies, which I love. But at the same time, it's like, no, I feel like I'm actually doing something, and I've said this before to a lot of people, and I find it to be true. I would love for somebody to do a long-term study on the generation that came before us in terms of like their risk of like Alzheimer's and things like that versus us who are going to be lifelong gamers. Like, what does that look like? Because this is an active form, right? They always tell you like train your brain, play Sudoku, play chess, play all these things. And I love chess. I play chess on my phone. That's like that's my mobile game is chess. But just this active form of entertainment, I feel like is going to be more beneficial long-term. And I would just love to see a study done on that. I probably wouldn't be alive for the results to be published, but I think it would be cool.
Yeah. I think the day I can't complete a game is probably the day I'll like start slowing down quite a bit. Cause I haven't come across that hurdle yet.
All right.
I
got okay. What's your like jankiest platinum trophy?
What do you mean by janky? Like cheap?
Like yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I have so many I can't even. I'm pretty sure at some point I bought those little cheap games that come, with it 1 hour platinum.
Yeah, mine
I've
is
done that every
definitely
now and then.
Mine is definitely My Name is Mayo.
Yeah, see, I haven't stooped that low yet, but
bro, Torrey, do you know about My Name is Mayo?
No, I don't know.
It's this little game that you buy, right? And the entire game, to get the platinum trophy, you literally just like turn your analog stick until the jar of mayo opens and you get a platinum trophy.
Yeah, I
so,
stopped.
that's why I've never
been
been a trophy hunter. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not either.
Been.
I don't know how many platinum, but see, I have the My Name Is Mayo trophy, and I also have the Elden Ring trophy, and I also have Persona 5 Royal trophy. Like, these are like so I go from the easiest one to like a couple of like the harder ones to get. I think the hardest one that I've seen out there is probably like Mighty Number 9. I heard is like you have to do like a hard mode one life playthrough. And that to me is like, dude, in like a Mega Man style game, that's insane.
Yeah, I think one of my proudest platinums is Cuphead. I have that one.
Dude, yeah.
That one's pretty
dude,
tough.
I still have to beat Cuphead. That game is so cool.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
It was on sale for like $20. I bought it.
Have you played it, Torrey?
I heard that.
I just got it. It's still sealed. I need to pop it up and try.
It's so good,
dude.
It's so good.
I'm so envious of the first time that you get to like load up the game and hear the music. And like see the graphics. God, it's so good,
cool.
Man.
All right, now you're gonna make me play another game.
I love that company so. Okay, I loved the Cuphead company so much that I bought it on PlayStation, I bought it on Steam, and I bought it on Switch. Because that game to me is such the epitome of like care for the art form and dedication to what the game is, and it's so fun to play. And dude, I want to beat it. I want to get the platinum in that so bad. The game's just hard. It's just really hard.
What else did they do? Cuphead developers, did they do anything else?
They released a DLC for Cuphead.
They did the DLC. I heard the DLC character actually makes things easier because like she kind of has something that kind of breaks the game. I guess in a way.
But this is Cuphead's their first game that they developed.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. That's awesome.
I think so. I mean, it's their first. I think it's their first major release.
Okay. I love like indie developer stories like Stardew Valley. Like when I like got into Stardew Valley, like I YouTube rabbit hole down the drain with that guy, and like Undertale, and it's you can go down all those stories. They're awesome.
Yeah, I went to Studio MDHR's website, and it looks like Cuphead is the only game they've ever made. I don't see anything else on their website.
And that was in development for a long time for them too. It took them a long and right? Like everything is so painstakingly well crafted that super cool, man. Super cool. And I need to play. Even my wife is like, dude, Cuphead is amazing. Like it's so cool.
Torrey, that's
she tried to play it.
Good
she
game.
doesn't play a lot of games, and she tried.
Okay, should I play that instead of Rebirth?
Well, I know you like to like chill at the end of the night.
Yeah, that is a chill game because it's very stage based. Yeah, it's very stage based, and the story is just like it's not chill in the way that like, man, you're gonna get like most of the way through a level and die because it's hard, and you're gonna be fucking pissed, right? Like that's the nature of the game. But like in terms of that, it's very stage based. Man, what would be a comparison? Like Contra almost is like
or Mega Man. It's like Mega Man.
Well, think of it as as a boss rush. It's just a boss rush game. There's a
Oh, really? Okay, so it's not stage based at all. There's no stages.
There's like maybe like 4 levels that are stage based, like platforming stages. But for the most part, it's like
what I mean by stage based is like what I mean by like stage based is like you pick a little thing, and like much like Super Mario Brothers, right? World 1-1 is always the same no matter how you go through it. Like the enemies are in the same spot. Like there will be different sequences sometimes. There will be different timings for things, but you can count on like this flower enemy is going to shoot this thing at you as soon as you roll up on it. Like that, you can count on that every time. You can count on the same boss being in the same spot. It's not like something where there's variation to how the level's going to play out. It's all relatively the same.
It's not like Shovel Knight where it takes all these tropes from other games.
Not really.
Shovel Knight's procedurally generated too, isn't it?
No, it's not.
What am I thinking of? Oh,
you're thinking of no, not Undertale. You're thinking of what's that game? I can't. The Rogue Legacy, maybe.
Rogue Legacy, yeah, that was a good game.
Rogue Legacy.
Crap out of that. That's
no. What's the one with the shit? I'm blanking on it. What's the one with the little boy?
Birth of Isaac.
Binding of Isaac.
Binding of Isaac.
It's procedurally generated.
Binding of Isaac. Yeah.
By the way, we were talking about indie games, and I know we're getting sidetracked here, but I love Super Meat Boy.
Oh yeah, that's like one of the OGs.
Is so fun, man. That game is so fun.
Before Celeste and all that, yeah.
If you like difficult games, like not like it's not Soulsborne difficult, right? Like if I really put my mind to it, I could definitely get the platinum trophy in Cuphead. I feel like
that came out around like Fez, when Fez came out, and Super Meat Boy. That was like the OG indie game start. Of everything, you know.
But definitely, Torrey, you owe it to yourself to play Cuphead, and it's one of those games that you can like. If you're like, man, I don't have time to really dive into Rebirth or Unicorn Overlord or whatever, you could play Cuphead.
Yeah, just be like a boss or two a night before you go to bed.
Oh, I like that.
Perfect.
Okay,
one of those type of games.
Throw that.
Yeah,
throw it in my Switch.
And I honestly, I felt like when you die in that game, it's not even like it doesn't even piss you off. It's more like, oh, you just kind of get a laugh at it, and like it's always your fault.
Yeah,
you know, like
it's always your fault. You know what it is? It's
never
when you die. You know when you die, Frenchie, and it shows you how far through the level you die.
Yes.
That's what pisses me off.
Oh, that's
like,
really
God
cool.
Damn it, I was right there. I was right there. Yeah.
And it makes you want to like go right back into it and do another
I'm like,
run.
fuck. You're like, damn it, I almost
Hell
had
yeah.
it. Let's go back.
It's like Super Ghouls and Ghosts kind of style or something, or you know.
I would say that's more
you should just play
platforming.
it at this point. Yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot of platforming. Well, I mean, it is kind of like you got to get through the level, but it's really, I would say it's like a, you know, like Super Mario Brothers on steroids with like Contra. Like, think about all the bullets flying at you from everywhere, kind of thing.
Did you guys play the new Contra demo? Did you
No.
play that? It just came out. It's not that good. It's okay.
I'll
just
pass,
give me OG Contra.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think it's time. Torrey, I think from what you're telling me, you're just getting past chapter 9.
Yeah, I just got past the Barrett and you know who scene.
Yeah. And by the way, everybody, at this point, we're talking Rebirth halfway. There will be spoilers. Mark your time down. 47 minutes, 10 seconds into this. We are going to be talking some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, only up until the point that Torrey played. So, Torrey, let's start with you. What are your impressions so far? What do you think of the story? What's your favorite, trio to play as? Yeah, just give me your positives and negatives. Yeah.
Oh man, positives. I'm going to tell you, this has like been the most addictive, like a game I've been so addicted to since I can't even think of it. Like I was more addicted to this than Nier Automata. Like I picked up Nier Automata, played it, put it down for like a year or two, and then picked it up again and beat it. Rebirth, like I put 60 hours into it, just up to where I'm at now. And I know, Matt, you said you beat it at 60 hours. Like I was doing everything until I burnt out I burnt myself out on it. But Queen's Blood, again, like I'm so surprised how much I love this card game, because I'm usually not like a card game kind of guy. Okay, I take that back. I used to play
Magic.
What do you call it? Yeah. In like my freshman year of high school, I used to play Magic. I know. I got my OG Magic cards home. But I'm like, man, maybe I should get into that. What's that Yoko Taro game that he put out? I can't remember. Voice of Cards. Do you ever play Voice of Cards? I don't know. It's, another card game. But no, I really like the pacing at first. But then, like, right now I'm burnt out. I'm kind of getting overwhelmed. I'm getting the whole, the whole Horizon Zero Dawn vibes. I'm like, there's just too much to do. I'm just like, oh man, I'm just gonna do the main quest, I guess. But all the nostalgia, all in the beginning, the first 50 hours of it, I'm just like, I love this. I freaking love this. This is like blowing my mind compared to like Remake. I'm more into this than Remake. I think I've already put more hours into this than Remake. So
you probably did, yeah.
Yeah, and then like using all the characters, I can't like I love using all of them. I can't say which is my favorite 3, because I like getting all the synergy stuff, like that whole, like, you guys, Matt, you haven't like played Chrono Trigger yet, but when you play Chrono Trigger, there's like synergy attacks and all that, and it totally brings me back to that, because you're like, oh, you can unlock all these synergy attacks. And I love how you can do the synergy attack with 2, switch to the other character, tell them to do something, and then see the synergy attack from a different angle. Because over time, you keep doing it over and over, you'll see the whole cinematic view. But then if you turn that off and switch to somebody else, it's like a total different perspective. And I'm really excited to like see what other summons I can get. Don't spoil it, but like Bahamut and like, what's the other one that you were talking about last time, Matt? The
Alexander.
Yeah, not Alexander. No.
Titan.
Titan?
No, we already got Titan, but Kings of the Round, right? Isn't that what it's called?
Oh, Knights of the Round.
Knights of the Round.
But so that's actually in the original Final Fantasy VII. That's a materia.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. Well, then
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in the game or not because I don't think I ever got.
It becomes like it's like or no, I'm sorry, it's not a materia. It's a limit break, right?
Wait, Knights of the Round? No, that's a materia. It's a summon
materia.
materia.
Yeah, it's a materia. Okay.
Oh, it is. So it is a
materia.
summon?
Yeah, it's a summon materia.
Okay.
Yeah. So they've changed the way that summons work in this game because like you do have summon materia, but like the way that you get them through Chadley is a little weird. But
yeah, it is
I kind of like the whole. I don't know if I don't think they're going to get to it because of certain situations, but there are certain situations that are going to be missing in this, and I think that they just did that to like kind of expand on more important things. But yeah,
okay, so
the way that you get materia is a little weird. So
yeah.
Anyway,
so my goal is to finish the game by next week, so that we can all just talk about it because I'm extremely excited to hear what Frenchie has to say about the whole, not liking it that much. So that's my goal. You think I can do that, Matt? You already finished it. You think I can just main quest the whole thing and just get there?
It's still a lot.
If you main quested the whole thing from the end of chapter 9, dude, you probably have to play like 3 to 4 hours a day. If I'm being honest.
Oh my gosh, dude! I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
well, the next region he's in.
I mean, it's gonna rain tomorrow and the next day, so we'll see.
The next region doesn't take too long.
Okay.
Next region is chapter 10, right?
9.
Yeah, that doesn't take too long. No, I think he just finished 9.
He finished Corel, right? Yeah, the Corel prison. So he's going down to the foresty area, the next area.
Gotcha. Oh yeah. No. You're definitely gonna have to play for a while. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I feel like,
man,
but listen, but hold on. But if you like I don't know how, you can tell me how you feel about the story so far. But I feel like actually the next part for me is where like the intrigue kind of picked up a little bit.
Yeah.
Frenchie, you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't like that part so much, but we'll get to that. That was one of the few things I didn't like, but yeah. We'll get to that at another episode.
All right. Yeah. What do you think of the story so far, Torrey? How you doing with it?
Oh no, I love it. It's so I haven't played like the OG Final Fantasy VII in so long, but like where I'm at right now, I don't really remember much of what happened with like Barrett's origin story and all this stuff. It all kind of feels new to me. But prior to that, it was really cool to see how expansive it was. But I honestly think, I don't know, man, what do you guys think about this idea about like just media in general with like movies and TV shows and video games now? Like there's all this it's just all about content, Mm-hmm. Everyone's just like Netflixing everything, making a show freaking 20 episodes where you can show it within 3. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm like that OG anime guy where I love an anime that's only 26 episodes long. Just boom. Give me the story, give me the idea, and then I'll move on to the next one. So I don't know. I think it's really kind of drowned out by this time, but yeah, they hooked me though for a while. For a while, they hooked me with the nostalgia.
No, I totally get it. Like I don't think this game needed to be this expansive. And there's always that argument. Well, you don't have to do it all. You could just mainline it. Well, that's not the kind of gamer I am. I want to kind of see everything, do everything, and
isn't that a you problem though?
Yeah, totally. It's
totally
a me problem. But you know what? A lot of the best materia and accessories and weapons are hidden behind these like Chadley's combat sims and side quests.
Sure. And but I'll tell you what, like one of the best abilities I got was like pretty early in the game, and that was plasma discharge. And as soon as I got plasma discharge and got the enemy skill materia, like, and then so what I did, I guess was kind of diving into like materia stuff, but I would pair the HP absorb materia with the enemy skill. And so then I cast plasma discharge on myself. And every time, Torrey, I don't know if you use plasma discharge, but every time you fill an ATB bar, it automatically engages with the enemy skill materia. And then when you do that, you actually absorb HP because you link it with the HP absorb materia. And so I cast that. I use darkness and chakra paired together. So your ATB fills up faster and your abilities do more damage or whatever, but it damages you. But then if you pair it with the chakra and you have them both casted on yourself, chakra actually like recovers some of the HP that you get damaged by. So like then I'm just smashing. And it's not even like this is materia that you can get super early in the game. This is not even like the best materia. I think darkness you can actually like straight up buy from like a kiosk.
Just like Remake, I'm just trying to max out all the materials, and I need to do what you're doing and just like tweak everything to kind of like try to break the game.
See, for me, I do what's best for like my play style or whatever. I'm not so worried about maxing it out because that's what the second playthrough is going to be. You know what I mean? Right. That's going to be like, hey, let me max this stuff out. Because I knew that off the top of my head, like just playing on normal difficulty, I didn't need to have maxed out materia. Now I can go through and like maybe I drop the difficulty down or whatever on easy or whatever, and then I just like I farm, right? Like I farm for that HP to like build up the materia, then stick the game on hard and try to get this platinum trophy because like the whole hard mode and Frenchie there, you know, much like Remake, there is like one section where you go through the game and you're just like, God damn it, dude. It's just like wave after wave after wave. And you're just like, what is happening? Like it's really hard.
Kind of like the Sewers and Remake.
So what was your Sewers and Remake was yours? For me, it was the arena battle or whatever with the goddamn house. The fucking house, dude, like smashed me every time. And I got so frustrated by it. Like every time would smash me. Sewers was difficult, but that house I was just like, I hate this so much.
Dude, you have got to prepare yourself for hard mode. The bosses will hit you so hard,
harder.
Just one time, right? They'll hit you one time, and you already have to consider healing because if you get hit again, you're probably out. Like they hit really hard. I've been fortunate enough to not have too many issues with the bosses up until chapter 10. I'm sure I'm going to run into an issue later. I don't want to go into specifics, but they hit hard. You got to be prepared.
All right.
I was going to also share, I think since we're on the topic, some materia combinations or just techniques that I've been using.
Tips, Frenchie.
So with Yuffie, there's a weapon ability called Doppelganger, which she essentially summons a second version of herself. So she'll copy everything you do. So if you use your fire ninjutsu, she'll copy that. If you use Prey, she'll cast Prey as well. So you kind of get like a double dip of attacks. And what I did was you can combine that with Eris's Arcane Ward. So the Arcane Ward, you put it down and it lets you cast 2 magic spells at the same time, right? So you can put Yuffie. Yeah, exactly. You put Yuffie on top of that. Yuffie will cast it twice, and then your doppelganger will cast it twice. Albeit, it's not like a full 100% strength attack, but it's still extra DPS.
Just listen. Really just don't cast it on an enemy that has cast reflect on themselves.
I did that once, and I destroyed myself. So there's that, and then I'm just gonna go over 2 more. There's a materia in the end game called Limit Siphon, and there's also
that one's sick, dude. Yeah,
there's an accessory. There's an accessory that you can wear or have your party member wear, where it gives them 50% limit at the beginning of a match. So what you do is you siphon it the first time, and then the second match that you go into, you can siphon it again, and then you have a full limit bar every other fight.
Break,
Oh wow! Oh, that's sick.
So I combined that with an accessory that allowed me to use my level 3 limit breaks. So like I would have a level 3 limit break every other fight. So like I was just destroying stuff.
Okay,
and I gotta say, I don't think I ever saw level 3 limit break with Cloud. I think I did Ascension, which you need Firebolt Blade with Aerith, the team up ability, and then you can do Ascension. But I don't think I ever got the level. I don't even think I poured enough into the folio to get that done.
Yeah, it's at the end.
I don't understand the whole like limit break hierarchy or like the like how do I? Because I've used Ascension a few times, but besides that, it's
with Ascension, you have to do the synergy ability Firebolt Blade with Aerith. That's actually the precondition to be able to do Ascension. I don't know if a level 3 has one, but that's it. Otherwise, you're just going to get cross slash every time.
Yeah, there's different synergy abilities with different characters, and if you read it, some of them will say raises limit levels at the end of it. So It's not only with Eris. There's other party members where you can
and it depends on how you build.
For me, though, it was just with Aerith because I ran Cloud Tifa Aerith the whole time.
Oh yeah, I've been mixing it around. The last one I'm going to say is Yuffie has an ability called Brumal Form, and this is a dodging attack. So what you do is you map it to like L1 in circle, and it's just a simple dodge attack, and you combine that with Eris's ATB ward. The thing about it is that every time you dodge within this ATB ward, your other characters, your other party members constantly get ATB. So you're spamming this Brumal Form. It's this dodge attack, which doesn't take a full ATB chunk. It just takes a little portion of it. You just keep spamming it, and then you just watch your party members' ATB bar go all the way up, like within 2 seconds. Yeah, it feels really a little cheap, but I've been using it for like the fuck this fight. Like, there's a lot of combat sims, especially on brutal difficulty, that felt super cheap and poorly designed. It's not a get good scenario. Like some of these fights are just hard for the sake of being hard.
Yeah, well, that's why I love that's why I love Rebirth, because you can break the game. Like I love that you can do those little tweaks and stuff, and like that you tell me this makes me more motivated to like get in there and try all these different things. But you know, I was just thinking about it because you're saying like just beat the game, we'll talk about it, which I want to do. But this whole idea of like New Game Plus, you know, like back in our day when we all beat Final Fantasy VII for the first time, like I don't remember, like was there a New Game Plus with the original Final Fantasy VII? There wasn't, right? There wasn't. No. Yeah, so like even they just
what they would do back in the day rather than New Game Plus is they would stick you at the point just before like the point of no return. So if you had other things to do, like it'd be like, oh, you completed the game. We're putting you back to the point where like it's the point of no return. So go and polish off any other quests that you need to do. And that's cool, but I do like New Game Plus, and these definitely have it.
This game, they just released, you know, downloadable content for New Game Plus, which isn't in the original. So if you
for the audio listeners, what game is that?
Star Ocean, Second Story R for the Switch, but I think that's cool. Like we're playing all these OG games again, where they're remaking them or remastering them. They're adding New Game Plus. Like when this Weekend in 2 and this Weekend in 1 comes out, and like all these remasters, I'm stoked that they're gonna have that, because you know it's gonna make it way easier. For like when I beat Final Fantasy VII, I learned about all this crazy stuff I never got to do, you know. And I wanted to do it, but I didn't know it would be so much easier with like New Game Plus or the Pixel remasters, for example, where you can speed up the time and, you know, get through a lot of stuff a lot faster. That's why I'm saying, like, man, when we get older, like we're like 70s, 80s, that's my whole backlog. Like, I'm just going to be
got nothing else to do, right?
An old person, so I'm just like, yeah, this is great. I'm playing all the old games I never got to beat.
Oh man, yeah. So I'll continue on my journey to the platinum. I hit a roadblock because what my original intention was to finish every side quest.
Before you jump into that, up to chapter 9, like what were your impressions of the story, the gameplay, and everything else? Like I want to give like an overall synopsis of like, you know, Torrey, I'll go back to you because I don't think we really touched on it. Like what were some story beats that you liked? What do you think that, like, what are some stuff that like you didn't like? Let's let Frenchie go, and then I'll throw it right back to you. Okay.
Well,
ponder that for a minute, but yeah, go ahead, Frenchie.
I actually liked. I mostly liked the whole Barrett and Dine scenes. I felt like
no,
they changed it a lot.
So cheesy.
It's cheesy,
so bad.
Bro, you think? Wait! You think that's cheesy? You don't remember the original? When Dine
I don't remember the original at all.
Dine swan dives off a cliff. He's like, "You take care of Marlene. You're her dad now."
Oh, that's way funnier.
That it's funnier, but it's dumb, dude. It's like, what the? Oh my God.
That's like when I saw Yuffie running as Naruto for the first time. When she was just running like, I don't know. You guys remember that from the beginning?
Yeah.
When
oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's Naruto running. Like, I don't know.
I felt like when she did Naruto run, it was like on fast forward ×3. I don't know, for some reason it was just like super fast.
I was upset because I thought she would run like that the whole game, but she doesn't. She runs normal, and I'm like, oh, lame. I want her to run like Naruto the whole game.
Nah, I could do without that.
Oh, bro. Minor. Never listen. Something will happen that kind of permeates through the rest of the game that you wish was different.
You
Frenchie,
can't talk about it yet. Yeah,
No,
you gotta wait. You gotta wait till next episode.
Dude, I gotta wait
get
like
farther.
10 more minutes of playtime for you. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
really? I'm that close? Ooh.
no, it's at the start of chapter
All
10.
right.
Frenchie, you know what I'm talking about.
He's talking about.
Okay.
I don't
I feel
want
like
to
I'm
say
gonna
it.
put some. I'm gonna
Yeah.
put like an hour in or two tonight after this. So
Wait. Oh, you know what I can do right now, Frenchie? I can throw this bad boy in the Discord real quick because I friended you. I'm just gonna message you to your personal Discord and see
Okay.
if you know exactly what I'm talking about. Where we go?
We'll keep it spoiler
Where's my
free.
friend? There we go. Yep. All right, hold on just a second.
Yeah.
all right,
So
well, yeah, story based.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought the Dine Barrett
You
scene was
love
pretty
Barrett
cool.
and
The
Dine.
only thing I
Okay.
didn't like was how they changed the ending and how Dine was like, I hope you live with that pain or that
The guilt,
regret
the
or whatever.
shame.
The guilt. Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Live with the guilt.
Yeah, they didn't do
No.
that on the first one. Like it almost seemed like they were ending on relatively good terms.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This one, it was like, no, fuck you, bro. But like,
Yeah, totally, all the way to the end.
I kind of get it when you look at the whole. It was, you know, when they go into Barrett was one of the ones that was pushing for the reactor when Dine was against it the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that, it kind of makes sense that he would hold that grudge, right? Because then everybody dies in the village, and it's just like, no, that's on you, Barrett. Do you agree, Frenchie?
Oh yeah, that was
what I
that
wrote
was
in the chat.
jarring.
I fucking hated that so much. I was like, is there an option that I can like not have this happen?
Apparently, that was in the original game, though. I think that the American version just didn't really have the appropriate localization, and it just came off. You couldn't really tell. That's what I understand.
Hold on.
We're talking about that spoiler bit for you.
Yeah, I know. I'm just sitting here like the rest of everyone listening. Like they probably, I don't know, you know, people watching this later, they're like, okay, what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have some spoiler timestamps for these people.
Yeah.
We're kind of all over the place with this.
Yeah, I feel like we should hold off more FF7 talk until I beat it.
Still getting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're just gonna stick to. I promise I'm not gonna say anything else past where you're at. So we'll just kind of keep it there. But Frenchie, what do you think of like? What are your favorite story beats? Like, you know, what did you appreciate? What is something from the early story that you didn't like?
Dude, the early story is awesome.
I think the only thing I can't talk about it yet because Torrey's not there yet.
See, it's gonna come around.
The next chapter, they added a scene which it wasn't in the original game that I just thought was completely pointless, and it involves two characters and something else. I don't want to talk about it yet. I really think we should have a full-on Rebirth spoiler cast, the three of us.
Can I do a prediction?
There were certain things I just didn't like. I didn't like the addition.
Type it in the chat for me, Frenchie. Sorry, one last time. Type what you're talking about in the chat so I know.
Okay. Really quick.
Can I do a quick prediction of what's going to happen with Sephiroth?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, have you guys watched Berserk?
I have not watched it.
Matt, you haven't either. I need to let you guys both borrow the DVDs I have so you can watch Berserk. It's like the best anime ever. I think he's going to go full Griff. There's going to be like a weird Griffith thing that happens, which you guys haven't watched. But I think he's going to be like good guy, bad guy. And then, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what happens.
Did you see that? What I typed to you?
Let me double check. I'm currently in the process of still editing our first video for those that want a little inside baseball. So.
Okay, yeah. So my thing was I didn't like. You know what I'm talking about now?
Yeah, that was fucking stupid.
That was pretty stupid.
It was pretty stupid.
And then in the next area, they expanded on a particular scene, which is all completely new stuff that wasn't in the original game, which I didn't like either. But I think the biggest things I didn't like were like the additions of characters, like Glenn Broadlock or something. I guess he's from Evercristed.
Lodbrock. Yeah.
Like, why do they need to do that? Like, nobody cares about this guy. Don't add him. I felt like Kyrie, doesn't add anything to the story.
Oh yeah.
Like, just what's the point of this Wish looking Tifa in this game? Like,
Yeah.
there's really
I
no
don't
point
like
of her
her
being
either.
there.
Yeah.
And Chadley's kind of annoying. He talks too much, and I don't know. Just keep
Dude,
it.
Chadley sucks.
Wait, what's
Talks
the
way too much.
girl version of Chadley? What's her name?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking
Maya.
about? Maya? Yeah, that's kind of like
Mai.
Mai?
It's Mai.
Yeah.
Mai.
It's kind of
She's not as annoying, but she still sucks.
Yeah. It's too many characters.
Yeah,
You know, my favorite side character NPC was the bard that's playing the guitar while you're you have to fight him in Queen's Blood, and like he like sings and plays the guitar and talks shit the whole time. It's so good. Like legit my favorite NPC in the whole game so far.
Yeah. I don't want to be too negative on this game because I fucking love it, but I really love the whole Junon stuff and climbing up to the cannon and seeing the Highwind for the first time was like, whoa, like that is badass. Like that was really cool. That whole scene was awesome. The cruise ship was awesome. Everything in the grasslands was amazing, like from the music and how it transitions into the battle music. I mean, gosh, the music is just perfect in this game.
Mm-hmm.
The combat is still engaging. Like after over 100 hours, I'm still finding new ways to play and messing with different characters. I haven't even messed around with Katza too much, but there's a lot of different ways you could play this game. Like I said in the previous episode of the show, the materia system is just the best because you can tinker with it and make yourself super OP and just have a lot of fun with it. What else? The gold saucer, which is phenomenal. Like the way they did it, like it really felt like a theme park. It was pretty easy to navigate. They had really convenient shortcuts to going from one place to the other. And it was just a spectacle. And just going up there for the first time was probably just as magical as it was the first time, like in 1997. Like it was just amazing. And I don't know. So this game does so many good things. Does so many things right that, I feel like my criticisms, it's okay to criticize something you love. Because not every game is perfect. I do have a lot of issues with it in certain regards, but it doesn't matter. Like I'm still playing it. I love it. Yeah. It's probably my game of the year.
I feel like a lot of your issues are story issues.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the way they handle certain parts of the story. Like I'm all for changing things. Like if you want to, because I think that was the thing that with Remake, the way it ended, it kind of divided the fan base. Like a lot of people wanted to follow the original. And I was one of those people until I saw the ending. I was like, okay, well, let's see where they take this thing, and I'm all for it. Like, let's go. And there was a couple story things I didn't like. I can be a little dramatic.
So for me, I'll just briefly touch on a lot of the things that you guys touched on. I'll start with the story stuff, though. For me, I think that we should try our hardest to separate what Remake and Rebirth are versus the original Final Fantasy VII. They're not the same thing. And I think that's very much intentional. And I think that it's easy to get caught up in, oh, I don't like where they're going with this. I don't like where they're going with that. Famously, I use the example of, an old newsletter from Star Wars fans when Empire Strikes Back came out. And they were like, this is absolutely terrible. We hate this movie. Like, what are they doing? Like, the story is going in a way that, like, we hate, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward to now, and I think any Star Wars fan would tell you that Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie. Like, bar none, hands down, like, is literally the best. It's hard to judge, I would say, accurately on a story when you're only 2/3 of the way through, when you don't know where the through lines are going to go, right? Like, the fan base that was divided with Remake, I got a little more because it was like, okay, this is not the Final Fantasy VII that you remember. This is not the complete 100% accurate Final Fantasy VII that you remember. But to be fair, if they did it 100% accurate, Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Remake would have encompassed the entire original game, and you wouldn't have had any more. And now we get this expansion. For me personally, I love the way that they fleshed out Sephiroth's character and made him much more interesting. He's one of my favorite characters in terms of design, in terms of the way that he kind of slowly devolves into madness. This adds elements to that I felt the original was lacking, right? Like, oh, he just found out he came from Genova, and now all of a sudden he wants to destroy the planet. I feel like this is giving him a little more, just motivation behind it, and you see the thought process, and you see where the bits of madness are flying into the situation and kind of going over it. And I think that's kind of cool. So I'm going to reserve judgment on the story because there's things that I don't necessarily like and I think are kind of dumb, but I want to see where they go with it. Particularly, a couple of things that I really didn't like, but that, I feel like we'll have resolution going forward. Gameplay, excellent. Gameplay, excellent. Love it. I feel like it's going to have immense replayability. To me, I really like Final Fantasy 16, but this combat is superior in every way to me. I love that when you go to do action, it slows the battle to a crawl. Mm-hmm. And like I really enjoy the way that they married new age action RPG mechanics with the old school. Let me pull up a menu and go through my spells and go through this and that to kind of set up what I'm doing. And it's not immersion breaking to me. It doesn't, I've always been a fan of turn-based RPGs. And I get that this is like the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. And I think that, they've done a really good job. Some of the stuff is not my favorite. I don't know if you noticed this so far, Torrey. Frenchie, I'm sure you've noticed, depending on your play style, you might get the weapon that you'll use the entire game, like right in the beginning. And every weapon that you find or buy afterwards will not be as good as what you're trying to do for that particular play style. Mm-hmm. Specifically, I'm talking about Cloud. I use the Sleek Saber for like 9/10 of the game. I think I changed it out when I got the Igneous Saber in like chapter 9. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was,
I feel like eventually you get all the weapon skills. So then by the end game, it just kind of comes down to whether you want more attack power or more magic.
Right. It comes down to stats. And for me, like the Sleek Saber had like the highest, like straight up attack power. Everything else started after that with like magic power. And I'm like, I don't necessarily want that. So
yeah, I have a question for Torrey. Since you played FF7 a long time ago, so for you, a lot of it feels fresh for you. How do you feel about all the Zack stuff? Like, do you remember him from the OG game? Because he's like a pretty prominent character, and I kind of wish they had more Zack scenes. To be honest, I know it kind of slows down the pacing, but I like Zack. I think he's a super charismatic character. So I just wanted to know how you felt about him.
Yeah, no. I almost wanted to replay Crisis Core again just to get the backstory fresh in my mind, because when he pops in those certain scenes, actually those are some of the coolest scenes where like your first person view is Cloud and Zack's just like hovering over you, like looking at, hey buddy, you're gonna be okay. you're just like dead in a wheelchair. It's like I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I love those story tropes, because it's like keeps you going, like, what the heck is happening? Because I don't know what is going on in that scene. I'm still confused. And you guys have beaten the game, so you know exactly what happened. I'm hoping, or maybe it's going to be in the third game. I don't know, but no, it keeps the viewer guessing. Like, how are they going to explain this? Like, what's going on right now? I feel like it's jumping back and forth between timelines, and I'm like, is this going to be a multiverse thing going on? Like, I swear to God, if they do another multiverse kind of thing, I'm going to be like, I'm done, because all the Marvel movies and blah blah blah, like everyone's doing that nowadays. So yeah, I am very intrigued by Zack being in the game and not dead and helping Cloud out.
Yeah. For sure. Can't wait to hear your expectations, or not expectations, but like what you think of the ending and how it all plays out.
Yep. All right, Frenchie. Let's get to your point about your roadblock to the platinum trophy, and about how the difficulty is much more difficult, it seems, in Rebirth, and whether you think that's like a cheap or a fair change.
Yeah. So my original plan was to play it on normal, do all the side content, do all the combat sims, but I hit a roadblock when I went to the Chadley's challenges, the brutal ones specifically. So there's 6 brutal challenges, and I think each of them are like 10 stages long. And if you die at any point of those stages, at any point, you have to start all over. And the first 3 weren't that bad. I actually got through them on the first try. It's the 4th one that I was just roadblock, like a straight up roadblock. The enemies hit very hard. Like, you get hit and sometimes you'll get stun locked and you'll get juggled up in the air and you'll die because of that, because you lose control of your character for a little bit. Yeah, like specifically, sometimes you'll get paired up against two heavy enemies and they attack you twice and you're dead, and you're just constantly trying to like rebound and heal yourself and raise yourself and whatnot. There's even a point where there's like instant party wipe attacks, and there's a worm section where there's like these two rock worms or whatever, dust worms, I can't remember what they call them, but they can literally eat your party member and you can't fight with them anymore. And that's at like stage 6 or 7, and I just had a tough time just doing enough DPS to get these guys down. And you know, a lot of it, I feel like the dodging, maybe because I just suck and I just haven't really played this way, like my play style is completely different, but I feel like at certain points the game doesn't give you the proper tools to kind of deal with certain situations. Like the dodging doesn't really help. The precision blocking it's kind of hard to pull off, because I feel like certain enemies just, they attack at such a rapid pace that it doesn't really feel like a viable option. So it doesn't really cater to the strengths of everything I've learned up to this point. It's almost like I have to reinvent myself and try more clever ways to try to take these enemies down. And I don't know. I don't want to say it feels cheap. It just kind of forces you to play a different way and think differently. And I kind of had this issue with some other aspects of the game in regarding even Queen's Blood, honestly. Like the first 29 levels were fair, easy. And then the last level just kind of throws everything you've learned. It just kind of flips it upside down. And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, how do I deal with this now? Like, you have to completely re-strategize how you play. And it's kind of the same thing with these brutal challenges. Like, they are exactly as they are. They are brutal. So my plan is to just go through hard mode, level up my materia, and come up with a new strat. And I've been watching YouTube videos, man. These guys are good. They are just melting these challenges. But yeah, to kind of further go on this, I feel like, you know, a game like Cuphead, where it's really hard, but when you die, you really feel like it's your fault, like you messed up. Or if you're fighting like a Souls boss and you die at a certain area, well, you probably should have done this instead of that, or tried this. I feel like they just made this hard for the sake of being hard by throwing you two enemies at the same time that have tons of HP and that can knock you out in 2 hits. So it feels cheap in that regard. But then again, it's extra content. It's not a complaint. It's extra things that you don't have to do. But, you know, I got to do it all.
Do you think there's going to be a DLC for Rebirth, like they did for Remake?
Question.
You know what I mean?
I'm not sure where. Well, spoiler for the first game, which is you know, almost 30 years old at this point. The next area would be like the snow area, and when you're snowboarding and whatnot. You remember that?
Yeah.
And you're kind of going towards the northern crater.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they decide to do that, I feel like it would take away from the next installment. Yeah, because there's some pretty significant reveals at the northern crater. That I don't think a DLC. So that's where I stand.
Well,
on
I mean, the remake DLC had Yuffie and Fort Condor, and you know, so.
And that was kind of an original DLC. You know, so I don't think that wasn't in the original game, and that's not how you were introduced to Yuffie. So you know, they could do something like that. You know, maybe have a Dirge of Cerberus style Vincent chapter or something. Cool.
That'd be dope. Origin story of Vincent with he's Dracula.
Yeah, because they never mind.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go into spoilers.
I could see the Vincent you know, like DLC or whatever, or you know, maybe a Kate set. I don't know. I feel like there will be something kind of akin to the Intergrade DLC, but who knows?
What if they did like a Sephiroth chapter where they kind of expand on the Shinra Manor?
That'd be sick.
Where he finds out that he's from Genova's taint. You know, and that's why he's actually truly upset because they picked that.
That's where Hojo
that's why he's so evil.
What does Sephiroth do after he burned that village? You know.
I know. Where does he go?
Yeah, that's what I want to know in the story. Like, how deep does it go with that with Sephiroth? Because I'm literally comparing Sephiroth's origin story to like Berserk and Guts and Griffith and that story, because that story trumps all of like bad guy stories in my mind. Like Griffith is the ultimate evil, like, and his origin story is amazing. So I'm hoping that like when you're in Nibelheim and Sephiroth goes down into his library and stuff after he finds Genova, he's like, I'm gonna read for like 3 weeks. You know, it's like, all right, okay, you're just gonna read until you get angrier and angrier and angrier and just like kill everybody. I don't know. I want more. I need more.
I guess you'll just have to finish the game.
Ooh, I'm excited.
We'll see. Because I remember when you talked about Final Fantasy 16 and you were kind of told me what the story was before you even played it. Like, oh, it's this, this cast of characters and they kind of eventually fight a godlike being, and it's kind of like the same, right? Sephiroth ends up having, pretty tropey tropey back history and his intentions and whatnot. So I wouldn't really expect something revelation, whatever that word is. I can't speak right now, but it's pretty tropey.
All right, guys. I think we should let Torrey play. We should.
I need like an hour or two.
Yeah, and we'll move on to our last two topics. I think they'll both be kind of brief. They're more questions than anything else. We are getting pretty deep into it now, but the question has been posed: 30 FPS for games, is that a deal breaker for you guys? Personally, for me, it depends on the genre, but if I can, and I hate to go back to Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, but
we just love the game.
Before they came out with that patch that differentiated between performance sharp and performance smooth, the performance mode on Final Fantasy 7 looked so bad that I played on 30 FPS just because it looked way better. But for the most part, for me, it's got to be 60 FPS. What do you guys think? Frenchie, what do you think, man?
I'm of the mind that you got to play the game first. Like the game could be 30 FPS and be totally fine. It might take a little bit of an adjustment to get through it. So far this generation, I've played everything at 60 FPS. I just like the responsiveness. I feel like it's quicker. It's you almost feel like a better player because you're able to do exactly what you want, and there's no motion blur or just choppy frames or bad frame pacing. Ultimately, like if the game looks cool, like I'm down to play it. And this topic was kind of brought up because of the news of Hellblade 2 being 30 FPS, and there are no options for that on the Xbox. So you're kind of stuck with what you get. And if you really think about it, like a game like that where they're really pushing visuals and narrative, and I don't think it necessarily has to be 60 FPS. The combat in the original Hellblade wasn't anything that required rapid inputs. It's pretty basic, bare bones combat. It's more narrative focused. So like if they want to go for like that cinematic experience, like that's totally cool. And another game that just came out recently, Dragon's Dogma 2, where it's kind of a more open world fantasy RPG that only has a 30 FPS option. I don't know. I'm not a tech guy at all. I don't know if it's an optimization issue, but it seems like a lot of what they're doing in that game is, having a lot of dynamic events. The new term is emergent gameplay, where a lot of this random things can happen at any time, and a lot of unscripted events. I don't know, the CPU or GPU, Matt, you might be more in tune to what it affects more, but there's always that trade-off, right?
It depends on the game. Dragon's Dogma 2 is very CPU bound.
Yeah, and that's another pillar, right? Do you want the resolution? Do you want the frame rate? Do you want ray tracing, or do you want like this really dynamic gameplay where that kind of pushes video games forward? So there's always that balancing act between all this. So yeah, I guess the short answer is 30 FPS games are okay. I prefer 60, but if the game is good, yeah, hell yeah, I'll play it. Torrey, any thoughts? I don't know. You're a Switch guy, so you're probably used to.
Yeah,
playing
you already
everything
know
for a
the
second.
answers since I'm
Bro,
a Switch guy.
he's a 8 FPS sort of guy.
Yeah, I swear, like when I put in Rebirth and played that, I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest game I've ever seen. The graphics are amazing. My mind was like, what the heck? Like, because I just play a bunch of Switch games and like I don't really care for like graphics. Don't really have to do anything for me. I love like gameplay and art style and story. And so when I put in Rebirth, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. While Matt's over here with his like, OLED, like giant 70-inch OLED TV and just being like, it's okay.
RGB lights everywhere.
Yeah. I'm like, this is great, So I don't know. I mean,
you know what's funny is that my mouse pad has RGB on the outside of it.
Oh my god. I'm not surprised.
Dude, it makes your listen, scientific studies have shown that RGB makes your computer 5 to 10% faster on average.
Oh, totally, bro.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, like, okay, so I would compare it to like Nier Automata on when I first played it on PS4 versus when they ported it to the Switch. Yeah, I definitely see like a graphical difference, and it does bother me a little bit just because I know the version on the PlayStation. It looks better, it's smoother, but like it's not going to stop me from like wanting to keep playing it and get all the endings and those kind of things. So I mean, there's like the Bloodborne community who's like, when are they going to release Bloodborne? 60 FPS. It's been 30 forever, and they're just like dying for that. And so, I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal for me.
Fair enough. Thoughts?
I am a frame whore.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the highest FPS possible.
Yeah.
I do think that there's law of diminishing returns. I think like 120 is like reasonably the best that you could really discern unless you're a competitive gamer. I think beyond that, you're just you're just nitpicking. But I do notice that certain games, and this is in particular across like cross-gen. So I think about like Spider-Man PS4 versus Spider-Man on PS5.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to run Spider-Man PS5 at 60 FPS versus Spider-Man 4, which was 30 FPS.
Mm-hmm.
It is a night and day difference to me. Same thing with Final Fantasy VII Remake on PS4, 30 FPS. On PS5, you can get it to 60 FPS. I think it's night and day in games where you need to react. I would not ever play a racing or a sports game or a fighting game that wasn't at least 60 FPS. Mm-hmm. At that point, you're talking about needing to be able to react to things in a certain amount. That just, it doesn't work. There are certain games you can get away with it, more narrative-based games, but overall, I think 30 FPS for me in any type of like super combat heavy game to me is going to be that's a no-go for me.
Mm-hmm.
Hellblade 2 is one of the examples you use. I'm definitely going to play, I have the option with a 4080 Super in my rig that like I can wait for, like I can do PC releases for a lot of those things. So
yeah,
I know a lot of people were talking about, particularly Xbox driven Starfield, and I was able to play Starfield at 60, which was much better than, playing it at 30 in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, there you have it.
All right. We're at the last topic of the night. And I got to say, Torrey Pines, you are going to be the star of the show here. Torrey, What is with your inability to finish games, man? Is it the length of the game? Is it stories? Do you just have that like gerbil mindset? Like what is happening that you can't seem to finish these games that by all intents and purposes you seem to really like, but that you just, fall off for one reason or another? What's going on, man?
Well, besides having like analysis paralysis that you tell me all the time at work, you're just like, Tor, you just need to stick to one game and play it. I'm like, I can't. I want to try everything. I'll be honest. I think it's San Diego, man. Ever since I moved down here, there's just too much fun stuff to do outside. I'm a hobby nut. I love doing different things. I'm addicted to pickleball right now. I surf all the time. I really value going to the gym. Gotten into yoga a lot lately. I don't know. There's so much to do here, man. And I love it that I can combine like my Northern California roots to SoCal. But I mean, it's hard to balance it all. It really is. And I don't even really like watch TV anymore. I mean, if I do anything, it's to play a game and soak it in. That's not true. I was watching Braveheart the other night just to chill. Mel Gibson. Can't take our freedom. So good. But when Game of Thrones comes out in a couple months, I'll definitely be hacking on that. I'm not sure if you guys are Game of Thrones fans, but big Game of Thrones fan. But yeah, sure. It's very challenging, I think, and it's different nowadays, right? So here's the point about video games in general. I think that, back in the good old days, there was no push to like finish games. Like no one ever talked about like, oh, you got to finish this game and this and blah, blah, blah. Now there's trophies. There's like this melding of such story-based games where a game like Final Fantasy Rebirth or like all these, anime style games, it's like watching One Piece, man. It's like starting from episode 1 or starting from Dragon Ball and watching all the way to Dragon Ball Super. Like there's so many episodes in terms of like these games that take so many hours from you. And I'm like, I just can't do it all. I mean, I think I was talking to you a while ago, Matt, about me starting the Trails series. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I hacked my my PS TV, got it on there, was playing it, and then I saw on the video game news that they're like going to release the first 2, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to wait, and then I'll play it some other time. But that's another example, is that these games are getting so big and so long. It's like you can't consume all that content. You just pick and choose. And so that's why Nier Automata is the best game ever made. So there you go.
You have to throw that in there.
There you go.
I'm with you, man. Games are just too long nowadays.
Yeah,
they are. Well, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to add Torrey's Graveyard to our show each and every week. We are going to go over some of the list of games that Torrey has kind of thrown away into the junk pile, and we'll see if he wants to get back to those or whether they're permanently dead and buried.
I will. Someday when I'm 80 in the old folks' home.
Well, thank you guys. This was a fun show. We got through episode number 2. Obviously we have a lot to say about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So if Torrey Pines can keep that one out of the graveyard, we'd love to do a complete spoiler cast for it.
We'll I will finish that one for this. Yes, I will finish it. Excellent. For you guys, I promise. Excellent.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us each and every week. We're doing this. Our handles are up on the screen right now. Any parting words before we go, Mr. Torrey Pines?
No, this is a great episode, guys. This is episode 2. I'm loving it. This is very fun to talk about this. I love you guys. This is a lot of great time. Yeah.
Love it. Frenchie, how about you, man?
This is a great outlet for me. I don't have too many real life friends that know and love video games as much as you guys. So this is just a treat to come out here.
We're all going to see each other at work tomorrow, right?
Oh yeah, we'll be there.
I'll be here on the weekend though.
Okay.
So for the audience, I take my PS Portal and play at work, and I'm lucky enough to be able to do that. And I know you guys are jealous of that, but
yeah. You might want to edit that out.
I probably just take that.
You might want to cut that out.
Nobody knows where we work, so
it's on my break, guys, and my lunchtime.
Yeah. Your break.
Break, right?
Okay, off the clock.
Construction workers drink beer. Frenchie plays video games on his break. I think we know what the lesser of two evils is. That being said, for Frenchie, for Torrey Pines, listen, guys, thanks for taking a ride on this carousel called the Pixel Playground. We hope to see you here next week. And until next time, let's play some games, man.